Alright guys, today we are going to talk about LSDA 300 series grade 2 lever locks. Now these lever handles are distributed by IDN Network, International Distribution Network, IDN Acme, IDN Armstrong. This is the 300 series. We've sold these for decades, have very few problems out of them, and they are a excellent value for a very good quality lever handle. Now there are two different styles, and we're going to talk about the different styles of the grade 2 300 series. One of them is clutch and the other is non-clutch. What the clutch means is when you turn the outside handle, when it's locked, the handle actually turns. It's locked so it won't open, but the handle will turn, whereas the non-clutch stays rigid. So the benefit for a clutch lever handle basically is so you can't put a pipe wrench on the handle as easily and break it, or a kid stand on it. It's more of a abuse thing where with the rigid handle, you know, a kid or somebody could step on it, climb on it, you could put a pipe on it and torque it real bad. With the clutch, it turns when it's locked, so that adds a little bit more vandal resistance to the lock. So when you're trying to decide, number one, the main thing with any lever handles is whether you want clutch or non-clutch, and we'll talk about the differences when we get them open. There are also two different designs. This one, the clutch one I have is a Lexington, and the non-clutch version I have is the Madison. So we'll talk about the two different ones. Let me go ahead and get these opened up. We'll show you there is one difference. There's quite a lot of numbers in the catalogs. These come in entrance, storeroom, classroom, passage, privacy, and a dummy. And the difference is, if you'll see the numbers here, you have a C300. The C in front of the 300 means it's the clutch. And then LE, MA, Madison, and Lexington. 26D obviously is the finish, brushed chrome. And then this one has on an extra SC 2 3/4, and that means it comes with the cylinder and a 2 3/4 latch. This one is LLLC, which means less latch, less cylinder. So if you're going to order one, obviously it's going to be more expensive because it does come with your 2 3/4 latch, heavy duty, UL listed, really good quality latch, and it comes with a Schlage cylinder. Now the one good thing about these is they will accept any cylinders, as we'll talk about here in a minute. But this particular one, you can order them any which way, however you deem it you want to stock these. Obviously it comes with the ANSI strike plate with the rectangular cutout. Now this is an important note. Some of you may have seen the curved one and you think this is not for that. The one that has the curve in it looks like it's for the latch. Most of the time those come with it, and it has a curve right here. This is actually just a bit bigger hole for vertical up and down clearance, so that is kind of good on the strike plates. It's a thicker steel, it's a good heavy steel. And we have an assortment of screws. We have an option to use through bolts. We have some stabilizing screws on the inside. We've got a poker and the two screws for the latch and the strike plate. Now, looking at the clutch, again, it's kind of hard to do with it in your hand, but okay, so it's unlocked there, and that would retract the latch. And when it's locked, it still turns. You have to turn the key to get it to pop out. And of course, on both of them, if you push and turn, it stays locked in a storeroom function type situation, and you have to use the key every time. So either which way somebody uses it. And also when it's in the unlocked position and you go and you put your key in it, it just kind of hard stops. There's no connection between it and the mechanism that pulls the latch back. So that only activates once you lock it. And we'll take this one out, and again we'll talk about the difference in the two trims. Like I said a minute ago, this is less latch, less cylinder. So it comes with the same exact plates and the same exact screws. And this one, when you lock it, the handle is rigid. And same thing on the inside as the other one. And let's move this just a little bit and we'll talk about the differences. Now this one and this one, you can see the rosette difference there. Let's get up close to the camera. The Madison has the extra ring around it, kind of a more decorative stepped up ring, smaller ring on the Lexington. But other than that, they are identical. And if we take it apart real quick, we'll just take a look at that. Let's take the less latch, less cylinder apart. You push in, pull it off, remove before installation. So this one comes, they both come with the through bolts installed, ready to take through bolts. It's always best, even if you don't have through bolt holes, to drill your through bolt holes because it provides a lot more stability to the lock. But if you're using that, you'd use your shorter screws that come in the pack with the Loctite on it, and you would tighten them down here. And after that's tightened down, you slip that on, and the bigger screws in the pack go through that plate and into this hole. So if you were going to use it without the through bolt holes, you basically need to unscrew these posts right here with a pair of pliers. Just grab it and twist it, and it unscrews. And once it's unscrewed, you would still use your plate here and tighten it down. And instead of the screws that go all the way through and attach right there, it will simply attach this to this plate. There will be no through bolt attachment. And after you get done, take your metal cap, put it on, twist it, and tighten it down. Now, there are a ton of companies nowadays that are selling offshore labeled locks or offshore made locks. Even companies that have, previously been made in America, they are outsourcing lines of their locks to out of country areas. And the difference in LSDA and them is LSDA has always done that. They've made no pretense to not doing that, and they have been doing it much longer than some of those other companies have. So again, we've been using these for over 2 decades. We have very few problems with them. When you put it on your door, I suggest spraying the inside surface with a lubricant so it will protect, especially on a metal door that's exposed to weather. The one thing I did not talk about was these little screws right here. What these screws are for is typically if you have a metal or a wood door, you can add those, which will provide even more support. And they go on this inside, they go here, 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 and here. And what that presumably does, that's these little self-drilling screws. They do have a self-drilling tip, so you could do it on a metal door as well. So presumably that reinforces it even more, stabilizes the inside. That is entirely up to you as to whether you want to use them or not. Just remember, if you use them, there will be holes from you using them for any future changeover. So anyway, that's it. The one thing about the latches, the 300 series latches are different from their doorknobs, so you do have to stock the latches if you get less latch, less cylinder. And what I do is I'll stock 2 3/8 and 2 3/4 of the finishes that I typically use. Of course, 2 3/4 is going to almost always be on commercial doors, commercial metal doors. However, every so often you run up a need to put it on a interior door that is back set for 2 3/8. In that case, you would need to order extra latches. And obviously, the cylinders do not come with it, but you can use any brand, LSDA obviously. If I needed to use a Sargent key, I'd get a Sargent, or if I needed to use a Wiser key, I'd get a Wiser cylinder. You can also use Ilco cylinders. This is another Sargent that they use silly numbers for it, but the Ilco cylinders work. Always with any, not just LSDA, but with any lever handle, it comes with a package of tail pieces. And there's going to be a really long straight one, a medium straight one, and a short straight one. The one biggest thing that people have trouble with, or that I had trouble with when I started, was every so often you will put one in, and when you go to lock, let's see if we can get that unlocked. When you go to press this in, it won't go all the way in. That, your number one thing it's always going to be is going to be the tail piece is too long. So you need to go to the next shortest tail piece so that is allowed to push in. Always check that after you use a cylinder. It can also take ASA cylinders, Medico cylinders. If they're set up for the standard Schlage style cylinder format, it will take those. These are also available in IC. I might add that. You can get them in Best IC. And same exact thing, except it just has the hole for the IC core for Best. And it comes with a tailpiece kit for 6 and 7 pin cylinders. So anyway, that's the difference. Hopefully I have not forgotten anything, but if I did, sorry about that. If you have not ever used LSDA and you're looking for a new brand, be sure and contact your closest IDN branch and inquire about, ordering from them. They will be glad to help you with anything. They do stock LSDA, like I said, have been sold for, we've been buying them for over 20 years, so I know they've been selling them for a lot longer than that. It's an excellent value, and if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. As always, appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next video. See ya.